My very first experience with Chabad was in the Virgin Islands, of all places. It was Hanukkah time, and I was on a cruise with my family. And we had gotten off the cruise, and at the front of the cruise ship were these young men, and they were handing out Hanukkah menorahs. And my father had taken one from the boys, and he went to go reach inside of his pocket to go pay for it.
And they said, no, we don't want money from you. We want a commitment. What's the commitment?
You must promise to light the menorah with your children every night till the end of Hanukkah.
My father agreed. He took the menorah, and we went on our excursion, and then we came back onto the cruise ship that night, and we went for dinner. As always in the cruise ships, the way that it works is you have these gigantic atriums where 2,000 or 3,000 people sit on different levels. And we were sitting right in the middle, dead center of the atrium.
The daughter says, Dad, we got a menorah today from the students in St. Thomas. Let's light it.
So she ran to the room, she brought it to the table, and we put it in the middle of our section, and we lit it. We didn't even ask for permission. I'm sure we weren't even allowed to. I remember that within a few minutes, the table next to us, all of a sudden, they had their menorah and they lit theirs too.
Within a half hour, over 70 tables took out the menorahs they received that day from Chabad and lit them.
And then another one, and another one, and another one, another one, until the entire atrium was lit up with these Hanukkah menorahs.
The entire cafeteria was lit with the holiness and the beauty of Hanukkah.
In the deepest, darkest part of the night, there was these menorahs that were lit.
Sailing away from the harbor in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, you had an entire ship that was filled with the Kedusha, with the Halakite, with the light of the Menorah, with the light of the Geula.
These all came from these Bachrim. They never even knew what effect they had because they didn't get to experience the fruits of their labor.
5 years later, on Hanukkah, I get a call from a younger man in Montreal, Avram Simmons. And he tells me, Asher, you'll never believe it.
As I started to become more observant, started keeping kosher, putting on tefillin, keeping Shabbos, I decided that I wanted to go to Mayanot, which is a yeshiva for Baal Teshuvas in Jerusalem. The night before I left, I invited a bunch of people that were part of my journey in becoming more observant. I invited them to my house for bring-in. And one of those people, his name was Avram Simmons.
For the last 6 months, I've been learning with a bacher who's heading to yeshiva in Mayanot. And Shabbos, he made a fabrengen in his house. During the fabrengen, he stands up and he says, I want to share with everybody my journey to Yiddishkeit.
I decided at the fabrengen to tell over that story from that menorah from the Virgin Islands. Avraham's face, as I was telling the story, turned white. He said, Berel, I was that bacher that gave you and your father that menorah. I was on shlichus on that island in that year, and both of our minds were absolutely blown how the whole thing came full circle.
Henya used to always tell me, and she always used to say, and we lived by this motto.
The Rebbe taught us all not just to build an institution, a big center, or only to care about our balabatim, but rather to build Klal Yisrael, a lummi, each of us in our shtetlach, one by one, and thereby the entire Jewish world.
We're here to build the Jewish world. We're here to bring Mashiach. And to see to it that ve'atem teluktu le'echad echad beis Yisrael, that every single individual Jew, no matter where they are, no matter what stage they're holding in life, to make sure that they are brought closer to Yiddishkeit, that is what will bring Mashiach.
It's the very small act, the one mitzvah at a time, the one Jew at a time, the one effort at a time. You never know who you're about to touch. You never know what that will change in their lives. So my message to all the great people that are doing this, and my message to the Feddermans and everybody around the world is that keep on doing the great work that you do, because without you, I wouldn't be sitting here today to tell the story.
Our one mitzvah, our one reaching out to another Yid has the potential to be machriya sakaf, you have the koyach, the infinite koyach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be able to bring Mashiach b'poel mamish.